Welcome back.
Get the beast.
Oh my goodness. We're starting in. We're coming in hot.
We can't say kill the beast.
No, because PETA would come after us.
No, because we're Christian homeschoolers and killing is bad.
Right, sure. No, I'm PETA. I'm more worried about PETA.
Yeah, but I don't care about PETA.
Hi, welcome back to Hints in the House. We are talking today about Disney.
The beast.
All right.
The beast from the sea.
Okay.
The beast from the earth.
No.
The woman riding the beast.
No. We're not here to talk about the Catholic Church. We are here to talk about Disney, which honestly could be one and the same at this point.
Disney and the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Not really.
Probably, I would say maybe like Disney and the Beast. Like that could be the same.
Disney is the political world power. The Catholic Church is the religious world power.
There you go. Building out.
Oh
Building
my
it all.
gosh. Dude.
Blowing
Knowledge
your mind.
will increase.
Oh my goodness. So we're here to talk about Disney and its impact on our lives. My goodness. Disney. What a thing it is.
It's impacted my life. It didn't impact my life very much as a kid, but now it impacts my life just about
the same amount or less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm way more invested in Disney stuff, but that's because Disney owns a lot more.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah. Like, if we're talking about Disney current day, that encompasses so much. Like, all of Marvel, all of Star Wars, all of so
yeah,
many
like, when I was a
things.
kid, like, I cared way more about, like, Star Wars than I
Yeah.
did about Mickey Mouse.
Sure.
Like,
Well,
Disney...
and I think that a lot of people our age didn't really care about Mickey Mouse because it wasn't that generation.
Yeah, that was, maybe a poor example, but like the umbrella of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, sure,
like
sure.
that stuff. Like I just didn't care about, including like Disney movies. Like
Right. Well, but you had a special relationship. That sounds bad. It sounds weird. But with like Disney Pixar, like we forget that Pixar wasn't always owned by Disney, and there was a time where Disney and Pixar were separate, but Disney Pixar was its own like brand. So I think of like Toy Story, A Bug's Life, like
Well, yeah, I guess Toy Story,
I feel like you were pretty invested in Toy Story.
I definitely am.
Still pretty invested in Toy Story.
Only seen Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2.
I would say I think I saw the third one at some point.
I've never seen the third one. Did
Maybe
they make a
just
fourth
once.
one?
I think so.
Haven't seen.
Yeah, no. 1 and 2.
People think it's like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, kids movies just don't do it for me anymore, man. Like, I can watch Toy Story and have a good time, but like, I don't know, kid stories just don't do it.
I think that's also in part I think that's for two reasons. One, you're a grown man. And
True.
Two, kids movies have changed so much from the time that we were kids that they're like not good anymore. So it's right. I even think back to like Hotel Transylvania. That's a recent kids movie, if you will. Sorry, not Disney. I love that one, but they've gotten progressively worse as they've gone on.
Well, and that's just because they're milking a franchise for all it's worth.
Oh, for sure.
And they're running out of story ideas.
But I think the first one was, comical and witty and clever and those kinds of things that typically first movies tend to hold when it comes to kids' movies. Yeah, I grew up on Disney, I think, as a child of the very late 90s and early 2000s. I think everyone grew up on Disney in that era. There wasn't a lot of...
Not as much as kids grow up on Disney nowadays.
Oh, that's true. Again, though, because Disney owns a lot more. There wasn't a lot of animation competition, I feel like, in that time. Maybe there was, and I just didn't know about it.
I remember watching an interesting video. It was about the making of Toy Story. And one, they didn't even know, like, that was, like, first time they were using computer graphics, like, the CGI that they were using. That was the first time they had ever done anything like that. So they didn't even know if it was going to work and if they were going to have a movie. And I remember hearing storyboards about the original Toy Story, and Woody was going to be like kind of like a villain in the movie. Like he purposefully was like pushed Buzz out the window, and like he was just kind of purposefully a jerk, like to Slinky and that kind of stuff. It was pretty interesting, like hearing how they had to change his character to where he was still kind of like a jerk,
Yeah.
But he was at least a redeemable, lovable jerk, not like a straight up, everyone's going to hate me because I'm boss people around. And
That was Sid.
I don't know how it was supposed to. Yeah, I don't know how that movie was supposed to end.
Yeah.
But I remember them having to rewrite the story and not really have any good ideas about, or not knowing for sure if the computer animation was going to even work properly and all this stuff.
That is an interesting thought. I think that, like, you know, Disney itself goes back to, like, Snow White. I've had this conversation so many times about when that movie came out, and I don't remember, so I'm very sorry.
Like the 60s?
I thought it was the 50s. Now I gotta look it up. Anyway.
40s.
You just run it back. I'm pretty sure it was, like, maybe it was 59, and that's why I'm, you know. 37. Wow, we were very wrong. Closer with the 40s, that's for sure. So, you know, you think about, like, that being page-to-page animation, you know, page to whatever, like, hand-drawn animation and not quite the computer effects that we get with Toy Story by the time we get to the 90s. Right. And so, like, my mom, I think when I was growing up, like, I watched Sleeping Beauty, maybe. That was one of her favorites to have me watch. I don't know if there was any much prior to that. I don't know what time. I don't know the Disney timeline. I'm very sorry. But things that I remember, Lion King, that was a staple for me. I think my mom, like, had it on for me when she would leave for work and leave me with the nanny. And I guess she was leaving at the same part of the movie every day, which is just ridiculous. But that's the thing, I guess, you know? Kids do that. They rewatch the same thing over and over and over again. So Lion King, Toy Story was also one for me in the early days of the childhood. Princess movies were probably not a thing that affected you, so I'm just gonna... I
mean, are you talking like having an emotional effect on me?
No, I wouldn't say that. I was just saying, like...
Yes, I probably watched them.
Right, but you weren't, like, obsessed with princess movies, because I feel like, you know, Disney princesses, that was its whole own other, like, universe of Disney movies, if you will. And so... I don't know if I necessarily had a favorite of those growing up. I can tell you now, like, my favorites, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and Tangled. But that was, like, we were on the tail end with Tangled there. Yeah, I can tell you now, those being my favorite. But at the time, I don't know if I really had one princess that I, like, you know, narrowed in on and wanted to dress up as and emulate or anything like that. No, not particularly.
I always really liked Aladdin.
Yeah.
But
I don't feel like we watched that one that much.
We didn't have the first one or the second one, I think. We had Aladdin and the King of Thieves, which I think was the third one.
Because the second one is Return of Jafar, I'm pretty sure.
Because he meets his dad, and his dad is
what?
Like the King of Thieves, and he wants Aladdin to join up with them, and they find the Midas hand, like the Midas touch.
Yeah.
And it's like a golden hand, and anything it touches turns it to gold. And in the end, he like they're trying to climb out of this thing, and he turns his cape gold, and it's like pulling him down, and he has to like let it go. And you have to like be careful, because if you touch the hand, you turn gold. So he's
what
like,
in the world?
He can't like hold it, and he's trying to keep it, but then he drops it, and Aladdin and his family and love and friendship and fatherhood triumphs over gold, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
One guy did turn into gold, though, which was kind of creepy.
I bet. You know, though, speaking of, like, having obscure versions of popular movies, I mean, that's not... I guess that's a third in the series, so it's not, like, an obscure. But what I had was the Beauty and the Beast Christmas thing.
Yeah, never even heard of this.
And that's the one that I had. I had it on VHS. It had a green box. But otherwise, like, the story was the same, but it wasn't... It was a very strange thing, because I remember the story of Beauty and the Beast, but I remember it being a lot more like Christmas and like focused and winter focused. And so we recently watched some other video with a commentary on that Christmas one, and essentially it takes place like in the middle of the original story,
right?
Somewhere
like in like the Christmas, like,
right?
10-second montage.
Exactly.
They decided to stretch that into a movie,
right? But it's like a whole, it's the whole thing. It's a whole 2 hour, whatever that tells essentially the same.
2 hours. But... Oh. Okay, this is
85 minutes.
Regular Beauty and the Beast.
Sorry, 85-ish minutes. I guess you have to keep kids' attention.
Right, that was like long. An hour
and some change maybe.
Yeah, over that.
But yeah, it was like this whole other story, but it was the same story, but it just took place at the same time in a different time. It was weird. That's the Beauty and the Beast version that I had.
Right, like I said, it took like this like little like montage and decided to be like, hey, what if we took that little montage and made an entire movie based on them having a snowball fight?
Pretty much, yeah. Very strange. Because the commentator that we were watching was like talking about there's like new characters in it, like new furniture characters in it and stuff, and me being like, yeah, I remember that guy, like, and then he's not in the original, and like,
right.
It's a very wild time.
Right, it's weird. It's like you can't really like, you can't like have that movie resolve anywhere because it's in the middle of Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast doesn't resolve until the end, so you can't like have some big, you know, he suddenly discovers that he loves her revelation because
that doesn't happen until the end of the
other movie, right?
Super strange. It would almost be like you have to watch Beauty and the Beast up to the Christmas part, stop it, watch the Christmas one fully, and then like restart this one, the original, at the right place. Were there any Disney movies that you were not allowed to watch?
Is Hercules Disney? Wasn't allowed to watch Hercules.
Which like I get and I also don't get, but mostly because it's so good. We should watch it now. You still haven't seen it. Sorry, Ethan still hasn't seen Hercules.
Yeah, heresy can seem good from the outside.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. Even when I was growing up in general, I was always like fascinated by Greek mythology. I never took it as a serious like religious perspective. I was always like, these are fun stories that people made up. I know. Which is why I was like, to me, I'm like, Hercules, like, why would you not be able to watch it? But if it was...
I feel like we also weren't allowed to watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I was going to ask about that one.
But I don't know if we just didn't watch it, or if it was a specific... Not allowed to watch it.
I was allowed to watch it. It wasn't any, like, favorite of mine. I definitely, you know, like, I remember seeing it. But I really don't remember a ton about it. Like, from a memory perspective. I've read about it since, and I'm glad I don't remember it, because it was probably... would have been very traumatizing considering it's like, and it's, I think the original story, like with most Disney movies, is much darker than they let on, but even still what they put out was not good. Like there's a lot of really bad stuff. So I don't think that one was a not allowed for me. I just think it was a not very often. I feel like I remember having it, but I didn't really like it.
I think Mulan was also, we watched Mulan, and Mulan was one of my favorite movies growing up. But I feel like that was one that we
towed the line.
Yeah, it like was kind of like, we got to watch it, but at the beginning, I think that my parents were like, I don't know, because like the spirits in the beginning.
I was gonna ask that about Pocahontas.
I remember seeing Pocahontas like once or twice, but we didn't have it on DVD or anything. So if we did see it, it was probably from renting it from the library, honestly.
Because there's like, she has like the tree spirit.
Yeah, that was another one we didn't have it. We didn't own it, so it was probably like, we don't really need to watch this. But I mean, it was like somewhat historical. Like,
yeah, right. Like, just like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the story of John Smith and Pocahontas well enough to know.
Yeah. I also remember that one being like, I think we had it. I'm pretty sure I had it on DVD, but it wasn't my go-to. It wasn't my favorite. I will say I probably did watch The Little Mermaid a fair amount growing up. Like, actually, like, in growing up, I remember that one sticking out. Lion King, obviously, we talked about. I watched Mulan a fair amount, too. Yeah. Beauty and the Beast, obviously. The Christmas one. So weird.
So bizarre.
We also watched Aladdin. Like, I was relatively familiar with... I feel like I had just, like, kind of a smorgasbord of Disney.
Is The Jungle Book, is that Disney? I like The Jungle Book.
Yep, I think we had that one too. I feel like I had just like a smorgasbord of Disney VHSs, and I would just kind of pick and choose and watch some more than others, but there wasn't any, aside from the ones that I mentioned, that I was like very mega attached to. Yeah. No, I don't think there was any in the not allowed category. I watched a lot of Disney Channel as well.
We didn't have cable.
Okay, there you go. So that was all that for you. But I was specifically
to watch Disney Channel every Saturday morning sometimes. A couple of shows.
I was very specifically not allowed to watch Nickelodeon. So Disney Channel was my like only option. And that had its own whole host of problems.
Also, can we just talk about like, was Walt Disney like an anti-Semite?
That's a good question.
I'm fairly certain he was Pinocchio. We had Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah, no.
Freak out.
I don't even think I saw it once. Nope.
Dumbo. I hated Dumbo. It was so sad.
I also do not remember liking Dumbo. Peter Pan. I forgot about that one.
Bambi. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Take it or leave it.
I feel like I watched Bambi a fair amount, too.
Song of the South.
Oh, Lord.
Never saw it.
No.
This is
good. I'm glad you pulled up a list.
Screw you, Walt, if you were...
an anti-Semite.
Yeah, what the heck?
Where's your frozen head? Let's smash it.
Yeah. Cinderella.
Yep, classic. Although those got weird once you got into second and third.
Treasure Island.
Oh,
that was a live action. Another Treasure Island.
Oh, no. I
was not talking about Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet is a sleeper cell of a movie. That movie is fantastic.
Is that even...
Disney?
No,
actually, it's not. Yeah. I think it's Sony.
Hey, Rob Roy, the Highland Rogue.
Okay.
Remember we had Rob Roy in that Time's Up?
Oh, yeah.
And no one knew what Rob Roy was.
Who are you?
Peter Pan. Yeah, that's a good one. That's 53.
I remember reading somewhere that in a certain amount of time, like a time frame, I don't remember exactly the time frame, so don't
Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, that was a classic in my house too. Anyway, the only movie where there were two movies where both the parents stayed alive for the entirety of the film, and it was both Peter Pan and 101 Dalmatians. And other than that, one or both of the parents died in every single one for a certain period of time in Disney history. And I'm like, and you wonder why we have a generation with daddy issues. Like, I did hear someone say, though, that it was intentional because Disney was trying to raise a generation of feminists. And so they removed all the parents from these movies so that these women would, like, rise up on their own. Except for that they didn't. They all got married. Save for, Mulan at the end there. But that was not the point of her story. So it doesn't really count to me.
Wow.
Mary
Poppins.
Nope, that was not.
Yeah, that was not one. That was like, watched it if I had to. Territory.
I can't really remember.
Lieutenant Robinson Crusoe.
I can't really remember a lot of live action.
The Ugly Dachshund.
That was Disney?
It's listed. This is Disney's list as far as I know. So
I would just like everyone to know The Ugly Dachshund is my mother's favorite movie.
Which anyone who knows your mom is not surprised.
Right. Remember that episode about the 10 dachshunds in my home?
It's an okay movie. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm not surprised that you've seen it because it falls into the
Blackbeard's Ghost. Oh my gosh. I love that movie. Did we ever watch that movie?
I don't think so.
Pause whatever you're doing right now, which obviously if you just heard me say that, it's watching this podcast. Pause this podcast right now. Go watch Blackbeard's Ghost, then come back, and you're welcome.
Two things. One, I'm not surprised you've seen The Ugly Dachshund because that falls into your parents' generation of movies.
Yeah.
And two, was Ghost and Mr. Chicken Disney?
I don't think so.
I want to say it was.
But I couldn't tell you.
Haunted Mansion. That was a classic. That was a classic Disney movie. That was live action.
I wouldn't exactly call it a classic.
It was classic for me. We watched that all the time. Oh, the other one I was going to say.
So much later.
The other one I was going to say is Emperor's New Groove. Listen to me right now. That was one of my favorites before llamas were even my favorite.
Emperor's New Groove. If you
chef's kiss
said what Disney movie would you want to watch right now, Ethan, Emperor's New Groove would probably be. Emperor's New Groove is one of those movies I could just kind of watch
at any point,
whenever.
Yeah,
like
so good.
I mean, obviously, if I started watching it all the time, I wouldn't want to do that.
Burnt out on it, but definitely, yeah. Love Emperor's New Groove. And that was, I don't know when that was. I feel like that was a little bit later. When was that? Let's find out.
No deposit, no return.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think Blank Check was a Disney movie, too. I really liked that one, but it got a lot of crap.
Keep your phone out of here.
No, I'm going to hit your phone with my phone. Emperor's... 2000. The Emperor's New Groove was 2000. So I was... a child. I was
Tron. 6. Tron is a Disney movie?
Yeah. I only know the remake one, though. I don't remember. Yeah, exactly.
I think Jeff Bridges is in the original.
I think he's in both.
Yeah. Well, he's like the lead in the original. And the new one, he's like a CGI younger himself.
Oh. Shows how much I know. Yeah, Emperor's New Groove was 2000. So I was 6. I feel like that makes sense. You know, like, or I guess I was turning 6 that year. Once you get into like 10, I feel like is when you're like, I am outgrowing children's movies. But it's such a weird time.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
Oh, yeah. The sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
So he's just a mass murderer. Okay.
No, I don't remember the entire premise of the story, but he has...
Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes, and that is another one that's like, just classic.
Hocus Pocus?
Yep. You knew that. Those
Homeward Bound.
Oh, yeah. Dang, Disney has so much reach. I just forget about the live action ones, for sure. Like,
Blank Check is on here, yeah.
I love Blank Check. A lot of people thought that movie was dumb. And maybe it's because he's an only child. And I was like, I identify with you. But I really liked it.
We're still only in 95.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Pocahontas was in 95. Yeah. Toy Story 95. Yeah. All these 95. Never seen any of the Mighty Ducks movies.
Nope.
No, live action 101 Dalmatians.
Yep. The first time.
Muppet Treasure Island.
Never. Yeah. Oh, the Muppets were the worst for me. I did not like them. They scared me. I still don't like them.
Air Bud. Do you remember Air Bud?
Yeah, Air Bud. Dang.
George of the Jungle. That was Disney. I like that movie. That was a pretty good one.
Tarzan should be on there soon, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which Tarzan. I feel like the things that I remember about Tarzan are the intro, Phil Collins, and that's it. Like, I really don't remember the rest of the story. I don't remember... I can feel it calling in the air tonight. That is Phil Collins. That is not Tarzan. Oh, yeah. I think you and your mom's mother son dance at our wedding was "You'll Be in My Heart," just in case anyone was wondering. You'll be in my heart. Yeah, you know what?
Dinosaur. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, that was a time. Not the good dinosaur. That movie is very, very weird.
Emperor's New Groove 2000.
Yeah. No, I had the tape for Tarzan when I was older.
Oh, The Princess Diaries. That's Disney also.
We will get there. You need to stop this list. I was like trying to backtrack.
We're just sitting here just saying Disney movies.
Okay, so for Tarzan, I really don't remember the rest of the story. Like, I remember the beginning that he was like somehow orphaned in the jungle and these gorillas took him in, and then I don't remember anything else. Like, I don't know the rest of
gorillas, and then Clayton comes with his band of merry men, and a lot of them are thinking that they are just like going to study the jungle, but in reality, they're just trying to like take the apes for poaching and that kind of stuff. And Tarzan has to save the day.
Excellent. Thank you for that Tarzan summary.
All of this leads to the ultimate question: should Disney be remaking their classics?
Absolutely not. One last note on Tarzan before we get there. I ended up finding the tape at like a thrift store.
Okay.
When I had a car that had a tape player. So I bought the Tarzan tape and had it in my 94 Civic as a like 16-year-old. It was one of the very few tapes I had. And so I listened to the Tarzan soundtrack.
Soundtrack. I was like, was it just like the movie? And
No. It was like, yeah, it was a Tarzan soundtrack. And I was like, this is a bop at 16. My 94 Honda Civic. Remaking movies. Absolutely not.
I tend to agree that they should not remake
Okay, hold on. Rewind. Sorry. If they remade their animated movies with updated animation, yes. Ish. Maybe.
I don't see the need
I'm
for
saying
that.
like remaking in a live action sense, that's going to be a no for me.
I have not really seen a lot of the new remakes just because they aren't. I saw the Beauty and the Beast remake with Emma Watson, and it was just kind of like,
I'm rolling my eyes because you can't hear that or see I'm rolling my eyes.
I didn't see the Aladdin remake.
Nope, I didn't either.
But I know people were not happy with it.
I thought I heard mixed.
I think the Lion King I think was received okay, but that was just realistic CGI. It wasn't
right because it couldn't be live action. It's all animals.
Like maybe
and I think it got the most
scenes were live action.
It got whatever most positive because it had a stellar vocal cast.
Sure. Well, I mean, like the remakes don't have bad casts. Like Will Smith was in Aladdin. Right. Emma Watson was in
Beauty and the
Beast.
Right before I was gonna say, what was the first one? The first one was Cinderella.
But here's the thing: changed the story.
And that's the thing. So Cinderella from Disney's animation since then has done 1,000,001 different live action story change kind of situations.
Right.
Like there's been a Cinderella story again. There's like a Cinderella story dance, something or other. There's Into the Woods, which kind of counts, but kind of doesn't as far as a Cinderella remake is concerned. Ella Enchanted could be construed as one, which fantastic movie. I think that might also be Disney. Maybe not. Ella Enchanted, great movie. Just watched it recently again. Ugh. Chef's kiss. Anyway, so there's been a lot of Cinderella-esque remakes. So by the time Disney got to remaking their Cinderella, it was like, we are all burnt out on Cinderella. What are you doing? However, I did really like that one. I don't remember much of a story change about it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like drastic per se, but...
Sure. And then I think shortly after that one came Maleficent, which was... in theory, a remake of Sleeping Beauty. However, it was refocused on Maleficent.
On the villain.
So it's like kind of, but not.
That's because villains are in right now. Villainous.
Exactly.
Villains are in.
Cruella. My mom.
Cruel devil.
Cruel law devil. When Maleficent came out, my mom was like, I don't care what they have to say. Maleficent is always evil. Like, she just was having absolutely none of it with that. And that was the second time in Disney movie, like, back to back, because Frozen had just come out before that, where they were doing this, like, act of true love doesn't need a man sort of situation to resolve the storyline. Sorry to spoil anything for you guys. So that was Maleficent. And then after that, I think, was the Beauty and the Beast. And I think that by that point, people were like, we are over this. And Beauty and the Beast didn't really change the story. They added a scene that was weird, where they got transported through the magic mirror somehow. Do you remember that?
Not really.
It was weird. They got transported through the magic mirror. They sang a new song.
Get transported with the mirror in the original?
No, they could just show you.
I'm saying the original story.
Oh, I have no
what
idea.
It's based off of.
Frig if I know.
Yes, I remember the animated movies.
Just would show you.
Happened.
Yeah. So they didn't really change the story there. They just added a new song and we're in a different place. And I think it was somebody's childhood, the Beast's childhood or Emma's childhood. I don't know. It was weird.
All I know is what the real nitty gritty this podcast is about.
Oh, jeez.
Is screw Ryan Johnson.
That's the other Disney.
Kathleen Kennedy or whoever the head of the Star Wars division is at Disney now. Screw all those guys. Okay. Go jump off a cliff because you suck at making movies. You suck at storytelling. You suck at life. No one likes you. So if you could just yeet yourself.
Hot takes.
Out of all of my Star Wars, that would be nice.
Okay.
The only saving grace.
Did Disney...
is Jon Favreau.
That's valid.
Making The Mandalorian. Except now Disney's going to crank out 1,000 standalone stories.
Did Disney acquire Star Wars before Episode 7?
Yes.
Okay.
George Lucas sold...
I didn't know if they acquired it in the middle, and that's why.
$4 million or $4 billion, some insane amount of money.
That checks out.
And then they made The Force Awakens, which was a good enough movie. I enjoyed it. And then they made The Last Jedi, which was the worst turd that anyone's ever put on a screen and been like, this is a movie.
Screen turd.
And then they tried to salvage it with the Rise of Skywalkers, but at that point...
they did the best they could with what they had.
Taking a dumpster fire and trying to turn it into a 4-star hotel,
To me, that sounds like
it's
2020 into 2021. It's just this continuous dumpster fire. Putting, what is it, makeup on a pig? I think that's the phrase.
Putting makeup on a pig's butt.
Or polishing a turd. That's the other phrase.
But you can polish a turd pretty good, actually.
I was going to say, in the avenue of remakes, I'm thinking of The Jungle Book. That was a live-action remake. Which, to me, I was like, for what? But you have to give it to him. There's just one kid. Basically. Because otherwise it's all just CGI animals, and then Lion King was CGI. Mm-hmm. And I think the next one that's slated is Little Mermaid, and I think they've just had a lot of delays because of the Rona. Mm-hmm. So, which I'm still relatively excited about being one of my...
I'm surprised The Rock didn't show up in The Jungle Book.
Oh.
You would think. That's like right up his alley. Jumanji, Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise. Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise. I forgot that that's a
probably be in their live action Tarzan remake.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
He'll be Clayton. He'll be the bad guy. Man.
I was gonna say, is he Tarzan?
Big and muscular,
do they put hair on The Rock and they make him Tarzan? Fine with it. That would be very strange.
Starting it today. Petition to get The Rock to be Tarzan.
Well, because I think of The Rock in Moana, and that's one we didn't mention, and that was actually really good. It's interesting. Okay. It just like there's few and far betweens. We've heard good things about Encanto, by the way. Haven't seen it yet.
Nope, haven't watched it. Haven't watched a lot of Disney recently.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I did watch Big Hero 6 without him. Sorry, we can fix that.
I did want to see that one.
It's a good one. That was also, I think, like, okay, it couldn't have been as far back as 2010, but it feels like it was that far back. So it's been a while.
None of that matters. All
2014
that matters
6 years ago.
Is that we get a petition to reinstate
George Lucas at the helm.
Our Supreme Commander.
Oh my gosh.
George Lucas.
Supreme Leader Lucas.
Yeah, Supreme Leader Lucas. We put him back at the helm.
Yeah.
And let him.
Well, because you think about too, it's like, I don't know when Disney acquired Marvel either, but like, I think we're at the end of what's considered phase 4 in the MCU, and I'm done with it. Yeah. I'm like, goodbye. Save for Spider-Man No Way Home, that was great, but other than that, I've not been keeping up with the movies at all.
I'm interested to see where it goes, but some of the movies they've been putting out are just so...
I don't think I've seen a single one, save, again, outside of Spider-Man. We don't count Spider-Man because it barely counts. I just mean like it's only just now part of the MCU because of the Sony and the blah, 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 like, yeah.
So now they're all part of this MCU.
Spoiler, jeez.
If you haven't seen that movie at this point, the Spider-Man No Way Home. If you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, all 3 Spider-Men are in it. They just call it the Spider-Man.
Why is it not Spider-Man? Why is it his last name? It's not his last name.
They should call it Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh my gosh.
Except they all make it home, so.
That's right, exactly. I was going to say, like, I just haven't since Endgame. I don't think I've seen one since Endgame.
You're not missing much. Don't worry.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about it.
All the TV shows, like, who cares?
Hey, Loki was good.
Loki was okay.
That one I'd keep watching.
Loki was the best show they did, and it was just okay.
And I didn't watch the other ones that you watched.
I didn't get through all of them. Didn't even start Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Nope. And then you watched... was just meh. Yeah, and then What If was the other one I think that you watched.
Yeah, I watched What If, but it was also just... I only watched it because the episode
Remember
was so
when
short.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the only one? And I watched that one.
It was terrible.
I liked it. I didn't see all of it, though, because it got weird. They ended up in space, like stuck in space, and I was like, what is happening?
Well...
In summary...
If you've got Disney Plus, just go scroll through some of the movies. Don't watch anything, because we know that's all how we consume content nowadays, is just looking at movies for an hour and then going to bed. So go do that for a little bit. Look at some of your favorites.
Maybe watch Encanto. Again, we've heard good things. Maybe we'll watch it. I don't know.
Maybe don't. Just don't watch The Last Jedi, because I will hunt you down and gut you like a fish.
Yeah, of all of the content to be watched. Although I think I saw an article that they removed all their Star Wars content, like all of their movies, from Disney Plus.
I don't know how they could do that, but
I also don't know.
George Lucas, he's taking it back.
The resurrection.
Viva la revolution.
I doubt it, but just watch anything but The Last Jedi with all of the Disney Plus content offered to you. The Mandalorian was a good show. I would recommend it. We have not yet seen the Book of Boba Fett, so I cannot speak to that. But as far as movies are concerned, find your favorite movie. It's probably on Disney Plus.
I'm just waiting for them to bring back Mace Windu. He didn't die.
Okay.
He died off screen, so he's still alive. Don't worry.
That's not how that works.
A Jedi can survive that fall, no problem.
That's not how that works. Also, can we just talk about how young Samuel L. Jackson is in that movie? Holy crap!
Well, compared to now, yeah.
Yeah. It's so wild because obviously, like, he's a part of that universe.
It's like seeing Liam Neeson in the first Taken movie. It's like, oh wow, both your eyes open all the way. Or Liam Neeson in the first Star Wars movie.
I don't even remember.
And now
those.
he's like, oh, I'm Liam Neeson.
I don't remember those at all. I feel like I have to go watch, like, I've only seen Taken like once, but I feel like I have to go, like, look at his face in that movie now. I was going to say, Samuel L. Jackson being a part of Star Wars, but then also being a part of the MCU is just, like, wild to me.
Got his fingers
There's
in
not a lot
pies.
of, you know, though, Natalie Portman, same thing. Both.
Fingers in a lot of pies.
You know, let's let you guys do that work for us and figure out the crossovers
while you're watching some...
between Star Wars and MCU.
Yeah, maybe while you're watching some Disney, just get some pie, stick your fingers in it, because that's what everyone else is doing apparently these days.
Sticking a finger in a pie.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.